Hello and welcome to PM Studios Java Programming Tutorials number 3. Today we'll be going over strings and revisiting the Hello World program. Gonna go ahead and spruce it up with a little user input, make it more interesting for the programmer yourself and for the user at the end of the program. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can tell, I've already imported java.util.scanner. We will be using that for most of the duration of these programming lessons, I would imagine. In terms of what we've already done, I've created a class called a string overview, and I've created our main method. So inside the main method, we're going to go ahead and declare a string and our scanner. So string name, and the scanner is going to be scanner input as always equals new scanner system.in. Okay, once we have those entered and processed, we're going to go ahead and do system.out print line, and we're going to say please enter your first name. Okay, and I need to get rid of this brace right here, so we're just going to backspace that real quick. Okay. And once we have that done, we're going to do name equals input dot next. This is all pretty rudimentary. We've gone over this in a couple of tutorials before, if I'm not mistaken. Next, we're going to go system dot out dot print line, and this is where we're going to be revisiting the Hello World program. So we're going to say hello, put a space, or rather a comma and then a space, and then close the quotes, then plus name, add the end, and we're going to put an exclamation mark, welcome to the Java experience. Another exclamation mark, close the quotes, close parentheses, close off the end. Okay, so what we should be able to do is we should be able to compile this, and as you can see, I've already saved it as strings overview. Just going to save right over that. Once it's compiled, you should be able to push F5, and it should ask you for your first name. I'm just going to type in Riz. It's going to say, hello Riz, welcome to the Java experience, and we actually need to put a space right here. That's why you always want to run your tests before you send off your program. Okay, so if we were to recompile that, alright, there we go. Now it all comes out fine. Now before we conclude this tutorial, because I know it's a relatively short one, strings are pretty self-explanatory. They're very basic. They're also very helpful though. I do want to point out that strings themselves are a library that is pre-imported into the actual IDE whenever you create a brand new class. So in order to figure out exactly the capabilities of the library that we're going to be using, which is string, we would go here to Google, and you could do a simple search for Java 6 API. As you can see, I use it quite a bit, so it's at the top of my list. You simply click on that link, and here you'll see that it has, right over here, a list of all the classes and all the libraries that you can import. So to save time, you would just simply do a search for string, and you jump down to number 9, it looks like, or rather 8, and that would be just the plain old string class. And then you go about 1/3 the way down the page, and it gives you all of the possible methods that you can call inside of the class library. So you can see we have length, checks and returns the total length of the string. It checks to see if the string is empty. It gives you characters at certain locations, code points, so on and so forth. But before we go too far into this, because I want you guys to go ahead and explore this on your own, and get a little familiar with this website and get a little familiar with looking up your library classes inside of that, so that you have that resource available to you. I just want to outline the 4 primary ones that you're going to be finding most useful in everyday coding. And that would be length. We've got char at, substring, and we've also got concat. Okay, so length, like I said earlier, it will return the total length of the string. Now, this is important because if I were to type in my name is Riz, if I were to type in Riz, so let's comment that out so that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That's a 3-letter word, so that has a total length of 3. So if you were to type string.length, and then you were to do name, or rather, actually, you don't even necessarily need to do that, you just need to do name.length. That would return 3. And likewise, char at goes off of the length. The important thing to remember about programming languages is that none of them actually start counting at 1. They consider 0 as a number that has a value added to it. So they will always start at 0 and continue on. So the numbers, or the positions you're looking for in this specific string are 0, 1, and 2. So say we wanted to get the Z out of that string name, so we do string, or rather name dot char at, and we do 2, and that would return a Z. Now, substring is interesting in the sense that you can create smaller strings out of that. So we could have another string that's called name2, and name2 could equal name.substring 0, 1, which would return R. The important thing to remember about this is that the first number is the starting location, the location that you'll be starting at your substring, and then the second number is the ending location of your substring. So if I were to do 0, 2, then it'd do RI, I believe. Substrings are a little tricky, and it will take a little while to fully understand, but once you get them, they're very useful. And lastly but not least, we have the concat. The concat's method is short for concatenation, which means to stitch two things together. So if you were to do name.concat and then IZALEOUS and put that in quotes, that would equal Rosalius. Oopsies, can't even spell my own. And that actually needs to be ALEOUS. So you would stitch on ALEOUS to the ending of RIZ, and you would get this total word. You can also do the same thing with, I don't know, for instance, car and shop. You could stitch them together to make car shop, and so on and so forth. That's a really bad example, but you get the idea. So, other than that, that's pretty much the very bare basics of Java programming and strings specifically. I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you.